Hi, everybody. This is Armando Hernandez here, the Illegal Amigo, and we're bringing you the Illegal Amigo Productions Skank Fest 2023 Skank Fest Vegas recap.
Woo!
Woo! Or boo, as they say. But yeah, we just came back, from Vegas, and boy, our arms tired. I'll tell you, Skate Fest Vegas 2023, hell of a year. It's my second year, my cousin Kyle's first year. And yeah, we're definitely hyped to tell you a bit more about all the things we saw, some of the stuff we didn't, some of the rumor mills that have kind of seemed to spring up after the fact, and give an overall review and recap. And I'll be doing several iterations of this over the course of the next few days and coming week. So please join me for all. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get skanky with it.
We're jumping into this thing. By the way, I'm Kyle.
Yes.
I was with Mando pretty much the entire time. All right, let's see. First on the agenda was we're going to give a shout out to Dan the Ramp Man.
Yes, our unofficial, unpaid sponsorship, Dan the Ramp Man, for all your skateboarding or sidewalk surfing needs.
Yeah. Located in northern New York. He said he does it anywhere.
He's available in the tri-state East Coast corridor area.
You can follow him at The Ramp Man on Instagram and dantheRampman@gmail.com.
And remember, folks, if you need a ramp, call up Dan. They call him Dan the Ramp Man. And if you like that, Dan, there's plenty more where that came from. We just got to line the boys' pocket sharing, right? And get some of those sponsorship things going over here. At any rate, okay. With that out the way, shout out to Dan and Linda out there. We're going to be talking hopefully to them as well. I'm going to be hitting them up on Instagram myself. And we'll have hopefully other interviews with other Skate Fest attendees, maybe even a person who performed as such and things like that. But I think there's a fun narrative to kind of unfold here the next few days and through these recordings. So that being said, let's see. We can start by talking about how we came about going to Skank Fest this year. It's actually an interesting story because I had wanted to go all year. I've been trying to figure out the path to such. And it kind of, I guess, serendipitously happened. At the end of August, I realized that I wasn't really in a position to be able to go in any sort of easy fashion. So I started planning and seeing what the options were. And I found that the Skanks and other members of Gas Digital we're going to be doing giveaways and free tickets and golden tickets, in fact. But what ended up happening is actually pretty interesting. So I entered a contest in August with the SDR show. I chose the SDR show contest because the other stuff was like, do you have the worst life? And I saw some of the competitors, and man, I don't have a colostomy bag and shit like that. So, and then one dude, I think the dude who had the colostomy bag was like, shot 4 times and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I'm gonna have to get up there and be like, I'm so blind, I fucking run into everything or whatever. I don't know. I had to really drop my own pride and value to make a video like that. And so what ended up happening is the SDR show one was like, what does sex, drugs, and rock and roll mean to you? And it was the Win SDR with SDR show contest. And that would include the grand prize of winning sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You were to have what do you call it? A weed sesh with Big J Okerson, a date with a porn star, and I believe.
I don't think it was a date. I think it was just going straight to business.
Yeah, YouTube loves gratuitous sexual content. Kyle, go on, explain it further.
So what happened? No,
I understand.
You get to know each other. You have some drinks.
Yeah.
She tells you how much she likes you. The normal things.
Yeah, fun stuff. Fun PG-13 related
yeah,
activities with porn stars. And then
There's a shot in front of you, by the way.
Excellent. So that being said, I have to finish my thought first, and then we'll do that. But yeah, so and the also part of the grand prize, and I was trying to get the name of the band out because I couldn't. I believe they revealed the band to be Seven Dust for the rock and roll portion of the prize, so you'd get to sing a song with Seven Dust. Listen.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers. Okay.
Man, water's delicious.
Oh yeah. So that all being said, entered the contest. Found out that I did so kind of tardy. I was suspicious of that because they had already kind of talked about it in the podcast, and Big J and Ralph had done the bonfire the previous week before I sent the video out. Excuse me, that shot got me salivating. But at any rate, Ralph was kind enough to allow me to enter the contest. So, in fact, Juan, who was another entrant into the contest, also was a late entry. So his video didn't get on the Gigi Dior episode of SDR, which mine and the other 4 contestants did. But I was a late entry into that, in fact. So shout out to Ralph and Shannon and everybody who puts on the SDR show. Big thanks, for being understanding and cool about everything as far as that goes. Like I said, it didn't just benefit me. I know for a fact it benefited somebody else too. So, you get a lot of love from us, I'm sure. That being said, the catch ended up being that in between the time that I submitted my video and the time that podcast aired, there was a lot of chaos as far as whether or not I was going to be in. I had sent my entry about maybe 3-4 days before the weekend of Labor Day weekend. And on Labor Day weekend, they sent me a response email on the Friday and a response email on Labor Day itself. I was not prepared because I was very busy that weekend. In fact, I ended up having a gig on that Monday. So
you're very laborious for Labor Day.
I was laborious on Labor Day. Yeah. I know, actually, it's true too because that event was also a potluck. So I was up early cooking and crap too because I also wanted to bring food to the potluck part of it. And I was DJing.
There's a secret for
Eat
potlucks.
my frijoles and listen to my slaps.
If there's ever a potluck and you don't have time, you just go to the grocery store, get yourself one of those charcuterie trays. Ta-da!
I love cartoonery.
I cooked it myself. It's my sausage.
I smushed the cheese curds together myself.
Yeah.
But so that weekend I was actually quite preoccupied, and I used an email address that's associated with my iPad, not my iPhones, and I think it was just by accident or incident, but either way, that I didn't check that email box like a dummy in a timely manner. And so I find out 2-3 days later after they send me the last email, which the last email said, "Please confirm. This will be our last communication," and stuff like that. And I hit them up 3 some odd days later than that, like a jerk. And I felt like a real turkey, Kyle. So I ended up being able to contact them and be like, yes, please, in the email. And they're like, oh, dude, we gave your spot away. And I'm like, so my heart sunk, my stomach twisted and that. And they said, but you know what? We really liked your video and we really wanted you to be a part of the contest. We'll put you as a runner-up. So if there's anybody who backs out or is unable to get to Vegas or what have you, you can potentially still go. And that is as much of a relief as much as it is an anxiety inducer, man. Because that next week I was in and out of an anxiety-induced depression. It was nutty. I was going kind of crazy for about a week, and it worked out. I didn't find out until I got an email saying congratulations, contest winners. Here's the instructions to bliggity blah. Here's the instructions to know how to rock. And I said, I don't need no instructions to know how to rock. No,
but I do need hotel room money
Yes,
and
please,
tickets
please,
going to
please
the
tell me
thing.
where to go get my hotel money,
Right.
please. But also they gave me instructions on the testing that would be required. So that was an interesting development that we'll talk about here momentarily. But I get the email. I'm like, please tell me this is for real. I don't know. I want to make sure I'm not a dumb person again. You know what I mean? I didn't want another email mistake to have potentially prevented me from going. But it all worked out. I saw the episode like almost like in between sending these emails that I'm referring to for confirmation's sake. Like, oh, they put up a new episode like a day or two ago, and because they record on Gas Digital, I think a 5-day difference or something before they release them, or maybe it's even longer.
That was only a couple, but okay.
No, I think it's almost a week.
Is it really?
Everything's almost a week behind. Yeah, a lot of podcasts have that. Though. That's not too uncommon. But that being said, they had already made their decision days before, and I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
They filmed that episode, and I was in it. I just had no idea. So I would just like Johnny come lately, fucko come fucky, whatever. You know what I mean? So however that works out, where it was it ended up being that I was on the show. I got, I would argue, highest accolades. Like most rounds of the competition, I blew out the competition out the water, and
you blew the competition.
I blew the
that was a
competition as
different.
well,
That
yeah.
was a different video.
Me and this chick that Joe DeRosa's friends with, we took turns playing guys in the
Right. In other news,
we'll get into that momentarily.
Mondo's OnlyFans is going for $2 per week.
Y'all better get on there if you want to see weekend
blowing the competition.
Okay. Oh yeah, the blowing the competition that I had with myself. Okay. So my video entry, I believe, got the highest accolades. The lovely Miss Shannon Lee Heyer said, in fact, quoting, he had the best video. And I found that to be quite endearing because, you know, you've seen how difficult I had trouble setting this up. It don't come easy.
They were just impressed that the camera was facing you.
Yeah, like, he's facing the camera and the camera's facing him. What manner of deviltry is this?
Yeah,
he's a witch, I tell you. No, but so the contest and everything is like really, you know, not only a blessing because of how the way it all worked out. It's weird to bring God into the STR show, I guess, to evoke the Lord's name in the conversation about the STR show and its contest. But nevertheless, it ended up working out well. I was able to have like about 2 weeks almost on the dot for us to figure out our plans. You know what I mean?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, and I invited Kyle. I told him, you know what, during my first call, you were helpful in the process. I really and also like just lately we've been hanging out in general a lot lately because we're both a couple of moosin, which will also be brought up later as well. So you know, being both brothers and cousins now, we you know, been spending more and more time hanging out. And I was like, you know what, I think between the fact that there's you know, a bestowment upon me, I guess, you know, of having these 2 tickets. Because my original plan was like, man, I'm gonna have to volunteer and just go by myself and go to a hostel and get all sorts of raped and stuff.
Well, you know,
get hung upside down and have my Achilles.
That was the plan B. If you didn't win the contest, you know, yeah.
It was plan A because I thought I lost the contest already.
Just open them cheeks.
Ready to go. Yeah.
Vegas will take you.
Like, man, they gotta cut my Achilles tendon off, man.
Some people, when they get screwed by Vegas, it's a totally different meaning. You were trying for the city.
Yeah. When they say what stays in Vegas, they're talking about certain orifices and their virginities. No, but okay. So, but yeah. So there was a lot to be you know, grateful for, and like I said, Kyle's one of the few people that I hang out with that also understands my unique precarious nature that of you know, being a bull in a china shop person and stuff like that, and also knowing how to, I guess, show patience and be cool about it. Ladies, if you're watching, all of you do as much things to him as possible that for this, and I'll take it
as a personal thanks. But yeah, so I think we could maybe start talking a little bit about the next steps, which was we
was
got our
leaving. Yeah. Well,
fast forward to September 28th, 2023.
Well, yeah. The next thing on the agenda was just talking about getting to Vegas. Not here.
We took Spirit Airlines because we're the blacks.
Yeah, that was awesome. I like to drink spirits and fly with them too.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That was cheap as fuck.
Yeah, I even spent the extra money on being able to take the carry-on, and it still was significantly cheaper than hell and on everything.
Yeah. As long as you aren't thirsty, you'll be fine.
I know. Yeah, the taking you to Vegas free drink thing is kind of nice.
It would have been. Bastards.
Yeah. That being said, I think for pricing on a plane and stuff, it wasn't that bad. $16.50. I know baseball parks that charge you that much for a beer.
Yeah, and I mean, like I travel with just a backpack, so I'm like, I don't need to carry on or nothing.
Nah, he was killing it. Honestly, I was a little jealous, but it worked out. The pricing of it too, like it's inspired me, man. Like I feel like I'm gonna become a poor man's jet setter and get that, what's it called, Spirited Away card.
Oh yeah.
So is it,
save 15% on water.
The Spirited Away card, brought to you by Studio Ghibli. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what you're talking
all those
about.
big anime movies called like Ponyo or Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away. These are all.
Yes. Okay, I know that one. Yeah. That came out when I was a kid.
Thought it might. So Studio Ghibli makes all of those, and they always have like the really, really bright, almost Disney-looking anime, and they always what with big anime eyes. Like that's like a big part of everything is people being like astounded during it, like in the movie.
Wait, they're all live action.
I think Totoro is one.
They're all live action movies. Nah, I'm just joking.
What? Okay. I was gonna say, are there Netflix adaptations? They're making a lot of live action anime.
Yeah, that
sounds like a contradiction.
That's what they're gonna do. They're just every anime that's ever been created, Netflix is just gonna go live action remakes. Everyone. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's see. And then the next, so we arrive in Vegas.
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad. Took the city bus. Yeah.
Thank you for flying Spirit.
It's not as many crackheads. The city bus in Vegas, not as many crackheads as New York, but there's still enough to make it fun.
I'll say this much. The flight felt like a bus, and the bus felt like a bus, but the bus, I've been in far worse buses than that. San Francisco ones are pretty atrocious. And then LA ones too.
Yeah. Those are called trains. It was run on you.
I call them buses because they're usually big fellers. All right, so we're in Vegas. La la la, dancing the night away.
Yeah.
But okay, so we got there. We checked in early, which was nice. The people were really cool at the check-in. They let us check in at 3, which was an hour before our check-in. I feel like I'm saying chicken.
Yeah.
But the before the check-in, we were pretty set. That was nice, being able to drop off our stuff instead of walking around the strip with it. Like, especially me, I had a bag like a turkey.
Yeah, well, even just a backpack. I'm like, I don't want to walk around with this thing.
Yeah.
Also,
makes your back sweat.
On Fremont Street with a giant thing above us, that was absolutely awesome. I've been to the Strip. This was far better, in my opinion, because you get a walk and the entire, like a TV screen above you.
Mm-hmm.
And just different colors and lights and things going on.
So, like, it's curved in all this crap, too, around the
stuff, right? Yeah, just around that street, just on that, like, block that we were on. But it was awesome.
What buildings does that conjoin? Or doesn't it go between a couple of buildings or something? Or like,
so, it basically went from... What was there was that casino we ended up at, not the Golden Nugget, the other one that's like Golden something.
Oh, I'll say the California with
the Cal, yeah, it was the Cal. It goes from there all the way to Notoriety.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it went that far.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing that zipline thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah.
I mean, there's something attractive about it. I definitely had that feeling last year and this year. Less this year, far less, but definitely once or twice. But I'll tell you, I didn't feel like there's people going over it nonstop.
There was people going over it, but I mean, I walked that street a million times by the end of the weekend. And I'm like, yeah, seeing them from above really wouldn't change anything.
Although there might have been some sweet cleavage shots you could have
Yeah.
banked from up there.
They just shout at you as you look down. $40.
Oh, okay. Here's a good time to talk about your Las Vegas expectation.
What's that?
It involves the king.
The game. Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I know. So there's a guy who goes to my local bar, Elvis.
His name's Elvis Presley. You might have heard of him.
No, his first name really is Elvis. Yeah, I think he changed it to that. But he was an Elvis impersonator.
Yes.
And so I'm like, hey man, Fremont Street, what's the sights to see? I know you lived in Las Vegas. He's like, yeah, you're probably not going to see a single Elvis on the street whatsoever.
They're making too much money.
Well, apparently, Graceland Estates or whatever, they're trying to get everyone to register. And so you have to pay money to pretend to be Elvis to try to make a couple bucks on the street. So nobody does it anymore, which is super disappointing.
That's hella rock and roll.
Yeah, no.
They require a license.
Yeah. They're like, this kind of rock and roll was in the 50s.
He's a king of rock and roll. So, pay him licensing for using his likeness and dancing around like a 100-year-old jerk off.
The guy's dead. It has been for a while. This is a requirement afterwards? I don't know. But
it's a wild thing, yeah. And I unfortunately reassured Kyle that it's kind of likely. I mean, I bet you somebody, because so many people take pictures. So I had to explain Fremont circles, and we'll do a quick version of that. But there are circles up and down Fremont Street
where crackheads make things out of leaves.
Yeah, that too. So the idea is that you can use that space for street performance or what have you, or spangin, or panhandling as it's called. But what tends to happen is weirdos and freaks tend to occupy them because they're the only ones up early enough to enter the raffle in Vegas, basically. But you have to enter a raffle, and they draw it daily, I believe, to do it. And I've greatly considered wanting to do that, and it's something I feel like I want to do, and it'd be fun one time. But there's a lot of
put a sign up. It says $5. See the blind guy.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Or just stand there and be like Cartman. I saw the James Phillip movie. He likes to touch me.
That'd be funny. Well, we saw that Chucky, but he was the wrong size.
Yeah, you can tell him a few things you saw in the circles that highlights.
Well, Chucky, he was 5 foot tall. I feel like the only people allowed to be Chucky are going to be midgets.
Yes.
I don't know if that's politically correct anymore.
I think they call them widgets now.
They're widgets now? Yeah. That makes sense. That's why I can put them on my phone. We saw Michael Jackson, which was, again, just a reminder that they had the wrong freaking guy on the street.
Yeah, he wanted the king of rock and roll, not the king of pop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not somebody who had sex with the Presley. I don't know if you know that. He was married to Elvis's daughter.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Lisa Marie Presley, if I recall correctly. I could actually know. I forget. It's either Priscilla or Lisa Marie. One was married to Elvis, one's his daughter. I forget who's who.
Well, that guy that was on the corner was married to nobody. But he would, if for $5, help you out. And then
why are you being stinky poo-poo, Kyle?
I think my favorite part, I don't remember what day this was, but we got stopped by the two girls with the little feathers in their heads. They're walking around like, oh, let's take some pictures. This was
day 2, I believe.
It was a day 2?
Yeah.
All right.
I remember because I was thinking this is not the time for this.
I feel like both of us were like, oh, let's just continue walking. But somehow we ended up taking the photos, and they're like...
I feel like both of us
were
keeping walking. Is that how you feel?
That's how
the one with eyeballs that worked.
You can walk without me.
That saw the women. I think that answer better than the previous one. But you could have kept walking.
I did. I wasn't sure who. I wasn't sure if you wanted the photo.
I'm confused.
Also, I'm pretty sure that I thought they were like, oh, we just want to take a photo with you.
We just think you guys are awesome.
Right. Memories in Vegas. So they're like, oh, after the fact, they should always bring this up first. But after the photos are taken, they're like, oh, yeah, it costs money. I'm like, oh, fuck, I figured.
Bring this up before the fact.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true boob.
Yeah, well, come on. And so they're like, oh yeah, it costs money. And they're like, I was like, oh yeah, no worries. And so I was gonna pull out some money to tip them, and they're like, it's $40 a female. I'm like,
Oh, I didn't realize they said that.
Yeah.
I thought they said $40 each.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So I handed her $6.
And then he turned and said,
yeah. And they were like, do you have some for my friend? You guys could split that.
Yeah. And the part I recall is Kyle doing that without telling me how much he gave anybody or anything, and going, Mando, do you have any more cash? I'm like, yeah. You're like, and then he whispers, kind of, yo, they were asking for like 40, and he meant each. But I'm like, I only got 20, man. I don't get any more than that. And I'm like, I gave him the 20, thinking that that's what we're doing, not knowing he had already given them money, because that wasn't special.
I thought you had a 5, and I thought you heard me.
No,
fair
That
enough.
other girl was talking me up and putting her legs all around me and shit.
Yeah.
Which is they are one to do.
Yeah. Wait, when it's time for the money? Yeah.
So at any rate, I'm up $20 for no reason. Don't have the picture as far as I know.
I guess I do the picture.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was saying, as far as I know, I don't think they're there.
No, yeah, we have
I
the
gave a
pictures.
brief look at the stuff.
I might have already sent them to you.
It's possible. But yeah, so that was on the second day. That we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. But that is how those circles work, and the idea is, in general, you should watch as you're talking to people on the street, but especially in this case is what it is. And my donuts, goddamn, it was something else. Like those broads definitely had it all figured out, and they like divided and conquered, because again, one was talking to me, one was talking to you.
Yeah.
They nailed it. But at any rate, so I mean, and two, it wasn't like by any stretch of the imagination like my last 20 or anything weird like that, but it was still like it was just funny how that all worked out. And then what you call it? I believe you asked me for cash at the next place is what the problem was with that. I gave them my last 20. You gave them how much?
Yeah. I did not expect you to give him $20.
Yeah.
I thought we were both gonna do the chippy thing.
Yeah.
Here's $1. Here's a couple of dollars.
Yeah. I just had no change and heard 40 if that was. So that was what we're doing.
Oh well, yeah. We did never have to actually pay them what they said.
No, I know that. Yeah.
I
didn't intend to. I was trying to pay them half of what they said for one of them, not for both either. No, but let's see. At any rate, that was and then the circles also had Sexy Nun, right? Sexy Nun was out there. Were the beefcakes out there? The last year there was like these beefcakes that would hold up women, so everybody on the street could see their snatch.
Okay, so there was a what's the male strip club called?
Oh, Chippendale.
I knew you would know. So they had a booth on Fremont Street. We had to keep walking by.
You kept going into?
Yeah, well, it was right next to our hotel. I kept seeing if they would hire me, but no.
Damn. As a fluffer?
As a fluffer. Yeah, so that was there. Then the nun, I think she would pull out her boobs and then have like his satanic things on them or something like that.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Mexican alien and
oh yeah, that was dope. And Predator. Or no, it wasn't Predator. Was it with Predator? Yeah.
Well, I think when we first went by, you only pointed out the xenomorph.
It was only an alien.
Yeah. And I had to have you. I was like, so I was imagining when he mentioned it, like
I just meant illegal.
The green. I was like, look, build that wall. No, the initial statement of there's aliens. I thought, oh, green guy, big head. You know what I mean? Like, but it ended up being a xenomorph, and then later was joined by the Predator when we walked back, right?
Right. Yep. Both of them playing different instruments.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I think one's playing a harp, one's playing guitar or something. It's pretty sweet. Playing like I guess kind of a ranchero style, more of Mexican music.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue with that day.
Okay. Moose Lodge. So we didn't have. I had tried many efforts, and we'll get more into this day one. But I had tried many efforts and exhausted all sorts of social networking avenues, in order to try to make sure that my ticket, show them the you show them the pass, Kyle.
That just is all access.
It only
VIP.
says all access VIP, right? I was trying to figure out whether or not these turkeys were going to let us into the
Thursday night.
the pre-game kickoff party. Thursday
Yeah.
night kickoff party, and I had hit up many people, and they were like, I won't name names or be crappy to anybody in particular, but one person said check with that person, that person said hit up that person. I finally did like a group tweet or whatever on X.com, and to the likes of people more in charge and stuff, and that message came back. No, your all access VIP passes from the SDR show do not cover the kickoff party. Well, we didn't have anything to do on Thursday night as a result of this. Come to find out later, and we'll get into the details of later, that every person from the SDR
No,
show
wait,
podcast,
that's not true.
oh, it's not true?
No, most of them had just the normal 3-day pass. And I am curious if
Somebody told us they went to the kickoff from the SDR show.
somebody did say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. At any rate, we find out that there was some sort of access to this. And then on top of that, that this pass, the VIP all access pass, is the pass one would require to attend the kickoff party.
Yeah, but I'm
So-
curious if because they give it to us on Friday, they're like, what doesn't matter anymore?
Sure. I believe that pass had other slight benefits, but not much. But at any rate, the so we're boned for Thursday night, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I was even trying to finagle it the day of and this, that, and the other. To no avail. We even walked past where they were doing it, like solemn, sad sacks, I think, at one point of the night. But that being said, we ended up finding our respite in the Brotherhood Lodge of the Royal Order of the Moosin. And we found, what was it, Red Rock?
The Red Rock Moose Lodge.
Red Rock Moose Lodge. Shout out Red Rock Moose Lodge. And all the lovely people that were there in attendance and were very welcoming and inviting to us.
Oh yeah, and to the lady who told me to come back the next 2 days to meet her daughter. I'm sorry I never did. I'm sure she's lovely. Marriage will happen to happen later.
You don't have a daughter for me, so no. At any rate, yeah, that was a nice little lodge. Had like kind of an old timey feel, kind of rustic.
Yeah,
Everybody there was really friendly.
I won $10.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I used it as a tip. But
Nice. I had a. We had thought about getting money out there too, because our Moose Lodge has an ATM. And I was like, oh, dude, that's a great idea, man, because we ain't at the casinos and this and that. They didn't end up having that, unfortunately.
No.
But I was surprised because considering that they had a couple slots, you would think that they'd have something like that available. But that was pretty nice of that. Do you want to talk about any of the Moose paraphernalia you noticed or anything interesting about the layout? Or?
No, I mean, it was cool. I liked the layout was awesome. You kind of walk through, it's a little deserty, which is unusual in Nevada. And then, yeah, the people there were nice. The atmosphere was cool. They were very welcoming. For those who don't know, it's a charity that helps children in Chicago and old people in Florida.
Yeah, shout out Moose Heart and Moose Haven.
Yeah.
I would also point out that this was my first Moose Lodge outside of my home Rancho Cordova Royal Order of the Moose Lodge out here. Shout out 2857. 2857! I better hope that number is right, because otherwise that barking of it is quite ridiculous.
Just shouting out a different lodge.
Just random numbers.
Yeah. It's the last 4 of his social.
My mother's maiden name. But yeah. So we so this was my first Moose Lodge outside of our home Moose Lodge. Kyle, you said you had been to a couple others.
Yeah, I've been to ones around town. This is the first one out of state.
Nice.
Sure.
So yeah, for both of us then out of stater. I'm very excited to go to the chapter. No, not the regional meetings or whatever, district meetings out in Tahoe eventually too. That's gonna be fun.
Next year.
Yeah. So let's see. So anything else about Thursday?
No.
Basically just went home, mobbed around the strip for a while.
We had a busy Friday, so we
Yeah.
didn't do much. I think.
Oh, we did a little cruise of notoriety in Dick's Last Resort.
Yeah, we did.
Those
We
were
went
kinda
to
worth
Dick's Last Resort. This is where I learned that most of my friends are probably assholes. Because I did not see like there was anything really like aggressive about it, except for some of the jokes on the receipt.
So for those of the uninitiated, you go ahead and explain Dick's Last Resort. Do you get it?
Yeah. So what it
Okay.
is you go to the restaurant and they act like perfectly normal people. Apparently,
Quite
they're supposed to be mean to you and assholes, and yeah, I just felt right at home.
Yeah. So the bit being that they're being extra sarcastic or deliberately bad customer service. That being said, like you said, and I'm not going to name names here, but you'll know who I'm talking about. There's bartenders that we see pretty regularly at one establishment we were at today that definitely, I guess, think it's cute to be like, I don't know. I don't know how to make that cocktail. Don't ask me for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
hey, can I get a Manhattan? What's in that? I don't know how to make that.
Yep. No idea.
He would have been perfectly in place at Dick's Last Resort.
It's the same thing. The bartenders at home and the bartenders at Dick's, same people.
It's wild. Yeah, or again, I'm trying not to name names, but there's another fella. Let's say you and I would be in a place where he'd be doing karaoke, and he was a bartender at that joint, and that place would be.
You talking about me?
Yeah, I'm talking about somebody that was also bar backing with you then.
Fair enough.
I'll
It
tell you
doesn't
after.
matter. You
But
tell me
he's
after.
a fella and he's older and cantankerous.
Ah.
Yeah. So, but he did a lot of that, a lot of like what do you want? And I said, oh, can I get this? And I slow down.
Yeah.
And like all I said was crown and ginger with lemon or lime or whatever. But anyway. So Dick's Last Resort, food was pretty good.
Food was the wings were delicious.
Yeah, all their fried crap was fried up well. So not for nothing, the food was decent, and the fun, and it was fun. They recognized that Skank Fest was coming to town, which was a thing in and of itself. This would also be about the time, and we're gonna start getting into Friday now. This would be about the time that we started to find out that our friends Danny and their group, right? Wouldn't this be about the time we started to figure out that they weren't in the area yet? They were still driving.
They were still driving.
Yeah.
Nothing. They weren't even supposed to be there until Saturday.
Exactly. So they had stopped somewhere, but they were most of the way there.
She had I'm fairly certain, and we'll talk to her. But I'm fairly certain she had a show on Friday.
Oh, okay.
And then she was making them
wherever they said we're staying the night before.
Right, so that they would make more money before going to Vegas.
Nice, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's actually very sensible. So we were finding out that friends that we expected to be in town would actually not be in town till Saturday, based on their scheduling. I hadn't known this, perhaps Kyle knew in advance, but yeah, I thought they would be there Thursday or Friday. So I was, looking forward to having other people that are going to the festival that were, people we know locally.
This would have been the first time I knew somebody going on the same trip as me.
Just completely separately.
Yeah, right? Completely separately.
100%. Yeah, almost. I think there's definitely been times it's happened to me, but this would be the first time I'd be able to prepare for it or know what's going to happen or whatever. You know what I mean?
Really?
Try to be actually out there trying to find them.
Because
I ran into people on trips that were taking the same trip,
fair enough.
More incidentally. You know what I mean?
Huh.
But and also I stick out like a thumb, so people like to run up to me, Mondo, and they don't tell me who they are.
Yeah.
Just Mondo, hey, it's great to see you. Oh, cool.
I
just fist bump them.
Just tell them I'm great with faces, but I'm horrible with names.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they're ladies, I make rude gestures with my hands.
Honk. Oh, hi, Jen.
God. Roasting. Roast. Anywho, okay. So yeah, that's more or less all we. So when we cruised notoriety, which was the venue having Skank Fest, we found our way to Dick's Last Resort. Then we eventually found our way to the Moose Lodge, and then we just wandered the strip a little bit at the end of the night. I think maybe had a little bit of the Fremont Casino, but that was about it, right?
Yeah, just lost
So-
a little bit of money, not too much.
So I was interested in an early night myself specifically because I had talent
STDs.
testing, STDs.
Oh.
Yeah, STDs to look out for. Yes. So, as part of the contest, one required a STD test and a clear one at that. Because having the test means nothing if you come back all riddled with
They're like,
disease.
congratulations, you can sleep with anybody that has chlamydia and AIDS.
And by the way, Kyle, the politically correct term is STIs.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that. They have changed it, haven't they?
I don't even think the ST is in there anymore, but I just threw that in.
Is it just an SI?
STI is the last one I remember hearing.
Is it just eyes now? Let me get my eyes checked. That would be important inside the industry.
So I check the email. I get the stuff all set up. Kyle begins to check the distance between our hotel and the Uber and the this and that. We're up early enough to go in a timely manner. I check my emails. I check my bank account.
Oh yeah,
Foreshadowing. I check my bank account. Everything's full of like hundreds of dollars in there. Maybe like I think between 5 and 6, something like that. And the test was going to be $205, and it was to be reimbursed. So nothing odd there. We take an Uber. It was actually, I wouldn't say far, but it was a little further than I thought it was going to be.
It was not close.
Yeah,
it was not walking distance.
No, it wasn't. And it seemed like it could have been at first, but it was like it said like about 4 or 5 miles, and that would have been like the worst thing. But yeah, still. The point in case though, we ended up there on time. Everything is going swimmingly, and they swipe my card after signing in and all this and that. And they go, oh, there seems to be an error. They swipe it 2 more times, and those 2 times are declined. Big difference between being an error and declined, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, 3 $205 authorizations went through as a result of this. Jamming up my card, jamming up my money, my whole balance practically. The last one in error didn't what did you call it? No, wait. Yeah. It was one was posted as an authorization. 2 were posted as an authorization, and 1 didn't somehow or another. So thankfully, it wasn't 3 times the charge, but that's because that one didn't go through by the time they did the 3rd one.
Right. Because they just wiped your bank account at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So I now no longer have the amount of money it cost to pay for the testing in my bank account, because it's now tied up in authorizations, which the balance reflects. However, the authorizations don't necessarily go through, and at midnight they fall off typically. That being said, they don't. So unfortunately, I turned to Kyle and go, look, man, I got a card. I'm going to get you reimbursed tomorrow. I'm so sorry I had to go this way. And I'm mostly just embarrassed than anything, because
you should be.
Yeah. It was totally avoidable. There's a slight chance, the bank wouldn't say so, but there's a slight chance that the red flag went off because of out-of-state purchases. You know what I mean?
That was fine. I mean, I gotta sit around there, see some girls I recognize. And,
and so we could talk about that in so many words.
I was gonna get some autographs, but they hadn't been checked yet, so
yeah,
I wasn't touching
them.
They
might have had the old hand hurts. They might have been in there for their hand.
And then there was a guy that was on the stage with you.
There we go. That's what I was just about to bring up.
Yeah. Well, do you remember his name?
It was the one in the jumpsuit, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Because Tracy won. But let's see.
Oh, foreshadow.
Foreshadow.
That's tomorrow.
And spoiler alert.
Yeah. What was his name?
I don't remember.
But this should have been something we should check.
But for those who cross-reference it with the SDR show thing, they were the one that they repeatedly said was in a jumpsuit, essentially.
Yeah. Well, he showed up with his shirt all curled up like the girls do, you know, when they're hitting the thing.
This is at the testing.
At the testing site, and some real short freaking
Spanx
that were American flag And I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I'm doing this for a contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I
I
read
see
that as well.
SDR show.
Like, yeah. So that was happening while I'm freaking out in my chair. Then, let's see how to put this gingerly. I think you know what the next part was in that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about them skipping you. Because the lady who was like,
That's
was
right.
helping you.
So we were in a hurry. And because the Skanks parade was at 11. We had gotten there at 9. You remember?
Yeah,
We got there approximately at 9. And we had plenty of time to do the test, this and that. But 3 declined charges, 1 charge goes through. They're skipping people. They're skipping me for people. Then they skip me one more time, even after I'm all signed in. Then the lady administering the test forgets I'm there.
Yeah.
She legit admitted it. Told me that oh, I don't know. I thought you were still doing the thing. I was like, no, I checked in like a while ago, and you guys kept picking other people.
Right.
But so now we're just like leaking time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just running like a sieve.
Yeah.
And I get back there, and what's required of me is some phlebotomy, some blood, a swab of the old dientes, la boca, and then a lovely Q-tip that goes into a very, very sensitive orifice for a man. And that is administered yourself. So the woman gives me the brief instructions, telling me, here's the little test tube, here's the Q-tip.
Get ready for your COVID test.
Yeah. Make sure not to cough while you do it, or it'll shoot out and impale into the wall. And your COVID test, yeah.
Did they remember that? That was a big thing.
One in the hole I'm talking about.
No. In China, they had the one in the hole you're talking about.
Wow, okay, no, I didn't know.
And they had people bend over and they tested.
That's pretty good. In a drive-through too.
Kind of, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You do that thing like you're mooning when you're driving up the drive-by mooning.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So the instructions were: take the Q-tip, insert it, swirl it around a little bit, turn around, look back at the camera, swirl your tongue around your lips. No. No.
Say thank you, Daddy.
Yeah. Say Daddy. And then, but yeah. So leaving off at the swirly bit, that is actually legit. They said swirl it. They said get all the inside walls.
Ring it around.
Something akin to that. And then they said, you put the Q-tip in the test tube and break off the tip.
Just the tip.
Yeah, that's the way I heard it. And so I proceed, complete, execute, break the thing, give it to the lady, throw away stuff, wash my hands. I should throw that in there, so I'm not just giving.
No. You don't have to. You don't have to lie on the mic.
You've been honest so far.
Yeah.
No, so I begin to, tell the lady, hey, here it is, and she looks at it, looks at me, and goes, "That's just the tip." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard that before." No, but I'm like, "Yeah, you said to break the tip off of the jar," and she goes, "I meant like the length of the jar." And I'm like, "Oh, so you didn't mean break off the tip? You meant break the Q-tip in half and make it fit in the jar," which is pretty vastly different instruction.
I tend to believe that you heard the instructions perfectly, but you just enjoyed it so much the first time. You're like, round 2.
I was like, how can I mess this up? I just really felt like that I needed an extra little cleaning in there.
Right.
No, so round 2, fight, execute, finish him. Fatality. I snap it in half the proper way. And zip, zap, zoom, baby. We dance into Fremont Street trying to get there on time. I feel like a real heel because I'm like, man, we're gonna be late to the
Skank Walk. Yo,
I
Kratom
brought
Skank
this
Walk.
up a few times. The Yo Kratom Skank Walk. Last year it was called Skank's Parade or Skank's on Parade, and it can no longer be called as such for legal reasons because we almost got the festival shut down last year doing the Skank Walk, Skank Parade, not the Yo Kratom Skank Walk. But that being said, me and Kyle pull up like G's, VIPs, getting bitches on their knees, if you please, and we're able to just pull up as Louis J. Gomez, his goddamn self, is seemingly barely reaching the part of the parade where we're entering on.
It was dope. He was literally across the street as we arrived. And then he came over to our side for apparently no reason other than that's where the starting point is, because immediately after that, well, not immediately, but when we did start the walk, we went back on that side.